I don't know if you've been living under a rock for the last few weeks, but the writers of Stranger Things have finally been giving the fans what we've been asking for. Recently, they've been posting the script for some of the best scenes we got in Stranger Things Season 4. The emotional van scene between Will and Mike, Steve and Eddie's conversation in the woods. They even released the script for the final scene of the season going into Season 5. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they released novels for each season. I love getting the glimpse behind what the characters are thinking in these scenes, and I want more of this. They leave so much up to our imagination, and releasing the script is such an eye-opener that I feel like the fans want more of. I would 100% read through novels for each and every season. I really enjoyed the Hopper book, Darkness on the Edge of Town. It did a great job of going into Hopper's time as a police detective in New York and explored his first run-in with Subject Zero. Honestly, I think I'm going to start reading the book about Brenner and his early tests on Eleven's mom. I love that they're releasing little bits from Season 4, and I can't wait to jump into it. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm Michael J. If you want to join a community that loves talking about Stranger Things and all the other movies and shows you like, go down and punch that subscribe button like it's a Demogorgon. Only 12% of the people watching right now actually remember to subscribe, so this is just a friendly reminder. If you want to help support the channel and be a part of the community before we hit 500k, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button. I'll have some more Stranger Things videos out soon, but feel free to suggest any video ideas you want to see in the comments. I've also been working with some amazing artists to create some really cool Stranger Things wallpapers over on my Twitter. First, we did one of Chrissy at one of Eddie's concerts if they both survive Season 4, then we had a cute Jopper one, and now we've got two more. This first one is of that really wholesome moment between Lucas and Max in the Creel house with the notepads. I just remember smiling so much when I watched that. I had to get this made, and I love it. And next is my favorite 11 kill of all time. We just went through and did a complete kill count video of all 11's kills, and I think this helicopter scene was one of my favorite. I think these both came out so good. Go follow me on Twitter at itsmichaelj, and then you can rock these awesome wallpapers like me. Alright, now let's just jump right into this video, because honestly, I can't wait to read these scripts. I've been saving them specifically for this video. Now, the first scene they released, which by the way, they're asking everyone in polls what scenes we want to see new scripts for, so go vote if you want more. But the first one was the iconic scene in the van between Mike and Will, and what a great scene to start us off with. Noah Schnapp killed Will's emotional scenes this season. His hidden feelings towards Mike added so much more emotion than I was expecting, and honestly, the best thing to come from it was his bonding moments with Jonathan. Him keeping an eye on him in the van, knowing what he was feeling, talking to Mike, and especially his talk with him in the back of the pizza shop. That scene hit me so hard. I'm so scared that they're going to try to rip Jonathan away from us now that he's found his new reason in the show. With him and Nancy growing distant, we seemed to care less and less about him until he stepped back into his big brother role and became the only person to be there for Will. And with them teasing Will having the spotlight in Season 5 and playing an important role in taking down Vecna once and for all, I'm so worried that Vecna is going to kill Jonathan to turn Will to the dark side. Now, for the most part, the scene goes pretty word for word with the script all the way up until Mike and Will's talk. Now, real quick, I want to talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, Marvel Strike Force. Marvel Strike Force is the best mobile superhero RPG that lets you bring all your favorite heroes and villains together to build the ultimate team to defend Earth with. Everyone from Doctor Strange to Loki to Venom, Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, and more are waiting for you to upgrade and outfit them to make them stronger than they've ever been before. The 5v5 battles look absolutely beautiful. Right now, I'm working on leveling up my Deadpool, which is so much fun to play with. His combo animations are next level. His slow motion bounty hunter move is so slick, and watching him use hack and slash to go around attacking everyone he walks by is just the best. But honestly, right now, I think my favorite character is Crossbones, just for the sheer fact that once his detonate special ability charges up, he can literally take out the entire enemy team with just one explosion. And you can use the best heroes you can find to link together to give each other even more bonuses. From something as simple as fighting next to Luke Cage, all heroes are affected by assists now, letting them join in on someone else's turn for 170% damage. And on top of that, Deadpool gets an additional 10% critical damage boost for working with Bullseye as a mercenary. If you're on Android, you can head over and download Marvel Strike Force from the Amazon App Store, and if you use Amazon coins for your in-game purchases, you'll get 20% off of everything you spend. One Amazon coin equals $1 US, and the more coins you buy, the greater the discount. The coins work in many other games too, and they never expire, so you can save on all your apps and game purchases. For everyone else, if you want to join me and start playing Marvel Strike Force today, go down and click the link in the description to download the game today. Now, let's get back to the video. There's one part in the script that Finn left out of Mike's dialogue to Will when he's telling him how he feels that he thinks Elle is going to realize once all of this is over that she doesn't need him anymore. He's talking about how Superman just landed on his doorstep, and Elle is eventually going to think that he's just a nerd and leave him because she doesn't need him. In the script, Mike was supposed to say this line that either got dropped or just cut out completely. One day, she's going to realize that. She's going to realize that deep down, down, I'm just some random nerd who got lucky that Superman landed on his doorstep. She's already beginning to understand she doesn't need me. I saw it in her eyes that last time we talked. And this line just wasn't in the show at all. They just completely cut it out. I wonder if they meant for Eleven to actually look at him like that during their last talk, or if he was just misinterpreting Elle's reactions and emotions. Because honestly, if you rewatched Mike and Elle's last scene together with this in mind, it makes total sense. Mike comes in and brings Elle some Eggos he made for her, trying to cheer her up and get her to come out of her room. And Eleven just completely ignores him at first and doesn't say anything. You can see the feeling of dread come over Mike's face as he questions if she doesn't like him anymore, afraid that he's going to lose her. That's where these feelings came from. Eleven was being super closed off, and Mike is just so confused on why Eleven wasn't communicating with him. Why wasn't she telling him what was actually going on in her life in Lenora Hills? Why was she lying to him? Were they growing apart and he didn't know it? What else was she not telling him? Mike is genuinely just trying to be there for his girlfriend. He's trying to listen to how she's feeling and understand what she's going through, and Eleven is just going through a circus of self-torment with all those intrusive thoughts being reinforced that she's different, that she's a freak, and maybe a monster, and that she'll never fit in, that she'll always be alone. And honestly, Mike does a great job, I think, of trying to be there, especially in the first half, but after Elle finally tells Mike what's been bothering her, it hits him. She tells him that because of his comment the day before at the dinner table,
anyway, she looked like she's gonna be fine.
She's totally fine. She didn't look fine.
she thinks that Mike thinks she's a monster too now.
You think I'm a monster too.
What?
Mike was just trying to point out that Eleven went too far and that attacking Angela was wrong, but that one comment and everything else building up just pushed her over the edge into an internal spiral downwards. Now, the one person that she's always supposed to feel safe and loved by and accepted by thinks she's a monster, leaving her with this massive empty feeling in her chest. This explains why she just shut down and closed herself off to everybody until Mike was able to help her open up so they could talk about what was bothering her. And as soon as Eleven tells Mike that he looked at her like he was scared of her, he immediately backpedaled and tried to save himself and explain what he was actually thinking, saying that he was just caught up in the moment by everything that happened so fast and he didn't know what to do. And then you can really see him thinking that Elle might be thinking they're done, and he doubles down saying that everything that happened, that entire traumatic incident, doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything, and that he still likes her and is hoping she still wants to be with him. But because of that stubborn Mike Wheeler roadblock of not being able to say that he loves her, Eleven just starts crying, and it reinforces that distance a little bit by asking him, "So you don't love me anymore? You just like me?" I mean, you can feel the pain in her voice. You know that all she needs to hear in this moment is that he loves her. But for some reason, he just isn't there. He just beats around the bush and tries to defend himself, not saying it, instead of getting over the roadblock and saying he loves her. This scene just hurts so much to watch. I really appreciate the look at the script. I can't wait to do this with the other scenes. I hope they release a lot more. I mean, Elle has a point. They've been through so much together. I think she knows that they both feel so much for each other and that deep down they love each other, but him not saying it is almost insulting by now. She just needs a little reciprocation on his end, and he's digging himself a hole, backpedaling into uncomfortable waters. He tries to salvage everything by saying how amazing she is and that she's a superhero compared to the bullies, and I think this right here is the face he was talking about. I think after she listens to what he's saying and she realizes that he thinks she's so amazing because she's a superhero, she literally has powers, but not anymore. Now she's just normal, and that means she's normal to him. Maybe that's why she thinks he's not saying "I love you" anymore. And Mike looking at Eleven's face after giving that speech and her with that face of realization before just saying "not anymore" is terrifying. He's thinking, is she saying "not anymore" like we're done together? Everything he said in this last talk turned around to bite him in the butt 5 seconds later. In this look for Eleven, I can definitely see why he thinks she's realizing she doesn't need him. And Mike doesn't want to say what he's thinking, and then Will just blurts it out. "You're scared of losing her." And I love this. Mike nods. Yeah, Will just nailed it. He knows that's what he's afraid of, but he doesn't want to acknowledge it, maybe in fear of it coming true. And then Will hands his drawing to Mike. We finally get to see this mystery painting. Mike unfurls it, his breath catches. It's an incredibly detailed, stylized image of Mike, Will, and the others dressed as their D&D characters, fighting off a 3-headed dragon. Mike is leading the charge, thrusting his sword bravely at the dragon. Mike tells Will it's amazing and asks if he painted it, and Will says, "Yeah, I mean, Elle asked me to, commissioned it, basically. She told me what to draw." Jonathan in the front seat clocks this lie. Wait, what? Wait, that was a lie? Elle didn't ask Will to paint that for Mike as a present for when he came to visit her? Are you serious? I had no idea. How did this go over my head? I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I just never thought about it that hard. Dang, I did not know that. It says that Jonathan starts to watch them after this lie, and then Will starts talking about how Elle is different and being different is scary and it requires courage to move on. Jonathan realizes that Will is not talking about 11 anymore, but about himself. And believe it or not, another amazing line was either left out or entirely cut. When Will's talking about 11 pushing Mike away and saying she's scared of losing him, there's a single line that I wish they left in. He says, "And if she was going to lose you, I think she'd rather just get it over with quick, like ripping off a band-aid, because losing you, it just hurts. It hurts too much." Why did they cut this out? Will is literally saying how hurt he was by losing Mike when he moved away, when they started to grow up and stop playing D&D together, when they grew distant and stopped being close like they used to be. He's literally talking about his pain for the first time and they just deleted it. I cannot believe that. And then we just have to read the ending because it clocks the true emotions after everything's been said. After Will finishes it, Mike smiles a bit, looking back at his drawing, feeling better now. Will gives a small smile back, but then he turns and looks out the window and that smile fades, giving way to melancholy. I think Noah Schnapp just took the reins on this one and hit it out of the ballpark. The only thing is, it makes it look like Mike is absolutely blind or just completely inconsiderate for him not to notice his best friend he was just talking with is now sobbing out the window. Like, for real? It says Jonathan clocks this in the rear view and it pains him that he can't comfort his brother here. His eyes turn back to the road, to that endless freeway stretching before them, and wow. Honestly, I would love to see the script for Will and Jonathan's pizza shop bonding scene. I mean, let's be real. I'd like to see the script for the whole season, but it looks like they're going to milk it with one scene a week. Let me know if you enjoyed this deep dive into this scene and what you think about the two big lines they cut, along with Will lying about the painting. Honestly, there's so much to talk about. I wish they left those in. I can't believe they cut them. I'll see you soon in the next video, but until then, tell me what you think in the comments. Peace.